you do have, like, psychological issues. Like, you need to be evaluated. You need help. Okay, but anyway, let's run that back. Yo, he was
the people that I spoke about in this video.
Yo, J-Star mentioned.
Shocked to even hear that because I thought that this was.
That's so crazy.
I didn't think it was. I know it's natural. So what exactly is the problem here? Well, they've fallen for the brainwashing. It's really just that simple. Reality is going to bite back. Maybe not at that guy in particular. God bless him even if he hates me.
Yeah, God bless him. God bless him.
That's all it is at the end of the day. And
Yo, I got
this is why I have
guys. I can't believe this. I got blessed by the Jimmy Talks. That's crazy. This is Jimmy Talks, and his video is called the far right is just normalcy reasserting itself. That's a great title. Okay, people are gonna eat this shit up. Oh, it's underperforming. Oh, damn. And it looks like he's trying out a new format too. Am I crazy? Well, okay, you know, I said it was underperforming. Relative to his last video. Which, yeah, that one's dog shit. Yeah, people didn't really watch that one. He averages around like 20k views, so actually this is you know, a little under, but still, how sad is that? Like me personally, my videos, they either get nothing, like literally 0 views. I'll get like 5 views on a video, okay, or I'll get like 20 times my my subscriber count. Okay, I have like 100 subscribers, and I'll get like 2,000 views. I'll get like, you know, I think my most is like 2.4k if you don't include my older videos. You know, with my newer content, you know, I the most I've gotten is like 2,500. But yeah, I mean, I've made multiple videos that get, you know, 2,000 views. Actually, quite a few of them. So, you know, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. But a person like this, like look at his videos, man. He has 50, almost 60k subscribers. And yeah, his subscribers count stagnated majorly. But like, look at this shit, man. He's barely getting half that in view count. It's crazy. All right, anyway, on to this. On to the video.
Talks. We're doing something
what up, Jimmy Talks?
COD commentary today. I wanted to try something
COD commentary.
I want to see if you guys like it, and if you're like,
why does he sound
go
like
back
that?
To the Call of Duty and the gaming, totally will. Don't have a problem with that. But anyways, I wanted to look at what is now called normal. What is called normal does not really seem normal to a lot of people nowadays. So picture this: we will try to bring you somewhere, and you probably will be able to relate to it. Imagine you grow up in a neighborhood where you know every face. It's kind of like a smaller town. People didn't really have to lock their doors at night, and where it seemed like everybody just kind of belonged.
Mm-hmm.
We all went to the same high school. We all had the same hangout spots. We all do the same things. We all go to church on Sundays, or something like that. It's just a normal.
Yeah, so I agree with him that like what he's going to say here, when conservatives talk about this, what he's talking about is a low trust society. Low trust society, right? That's what you keep hearing them say. Okay, and it's somewhat real. Okay, actually, I would say it's very real. Okay, but this isn't because crime is up. Actually, crime is down. Okay, and if you trust the numbers from this year, which the fuck, I don't really trust the numbers, to be honest with you. But crime is down like 20% this year. Okay, but even if you don't believe that, even if you're like me and you don't believe that bullshit. Crime is still, like, going down year over year. It has been. There was a brief spike during COVID. Okay, but crime's been going down. Okay, and yet, people, you know, I think conservatives are right about this. Like, people don't really trust each other. People do lock their doors at night, whereas, you know, they used to not really do that as much. And I think that this is not because of crime, but because of material conditions. I have pepper spray and mace on me. Yeah, well, you know, look, the fact of the matter is crime is down. Crime has been down. Okay, it peaked in the 70s, and like I said, there was a brief spike with COVID. Okay, but generally crime be going down. Okay, now the reason that I think people lock their doors and yada yada, it's because of perceived crime. Okay, you see, when people see poverty, they think crime. When they see homeless people, when they see dilapidated buildings, they think crime. Okay, so the perception of crime has gone up, but the actual statistics, the crime numbers, have gone down. If someone steals food for their family, is it still a crime? Of course it is. It is a crime. Like, should it be happening? Obviously the fuck not. You know, but if you're asking, like, is it a crime? You know, yes. Yeah, stealing is a crime. It's kind of interesting you say that, because in Texas, a lot of people leave their doors unlocked so they have a reason to shoot. Yeah, I mean, Texas is that kind of place, you know. But Texas is also a place that I think doesn't have, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't have, like, a lot of homeless people, right? It doesn't have a lot of, like, buildings falling apart outside of the city. Okay, obviously you're going to have homeless and whatnot in, like, Dallas and Houston, I would assume. But in a lot of places in America, like small town USA, you see homeless people. You know, you see them. They're everywhere. Okay, it's inescapable. Oh, bro, there's a lot of awful areas in Texas, like they are shitholes. Yeah, I mean, you're right. You know, I can certainly see that. But anyway, you know, Texans, you know, don't mess with Texans. Okay, they'll shoot you. Okay, Donut is right about that. They're itching for it. I'm itching to use my AR on a human being. Okay, but anyway. My point is but those are the same people who live in rural areas, still vote for Republicans, and think they are looking after the well-being. Or after their well-being. It's bullshit, yeah. Yeah, I mean, what is there to say? It's not like Democrats help at all either. Democrats don't fucking help homeless people. Democrats don't help anyone. You know, all politicians are lizards in skin suits. Yeah, Dems aren't any better either. So, you know, that's the thing, man. Like, I think a lot of rural voters, they recognize that. They see Republicans as the lesser evil, which is technically incorrect. But, you know, it's not like Democrats help us either. For real. Okay, Democrats are just marginally more likely to sprinkle breadcrumbs on us, as I like to say. Anyway, let's keep going with the video.
Life. Now, picture that same exact place that you just thought.
I like your screensaver. It's not, yeah, yeah. He's, this is actually JimmyTalks. You may remember him. I've reacted to many of his videos. But he always does, like, gameplay, Call of Duty. He's trying something different here. I think it's working for him. Okay, I like it.
But it's completely transformed.
He's a video essayist now.
In an unfamiliar
Baltimore.
language. There are sirens all the time for emergency services.
Yeah, I sure do. Yeah.
As people who don't look like you, or sound like you, or talk like you, or have the same culture or the same religion are now everywhere, and they are walking along the sidewalk. Whether an individual is good or bad, it doesn't change the fact of the matter is that everybody is now different. So this is what's happening nowadays. This is really the reality
they're
of what's happening nowadays.
different.
So if you voice your grief or your grievances over this loss of what you grew up with and how everybody seemed the same, and there is a big thing that you miss about your childhood, it just doesn't seem like the same place anymore. If you dare to say that the changes have maybe even taken away the safety of your community, or even the soul, the vibes of your community, you're not really met with understanding or someone going, oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. You're not treated as somebody who's mourning their homeland, like, hey, we should probably fix this. To a lot of people, which is changing, but for a lot of people still, you're kind of called a monster. That's what you're branded as. You're called a racist. You're called everything that is from...
And there's a reason for that, man, because when you say shit like that, that is Nazi shit, okay? I'm not the brightest, but why do they seem to express their angers among Indians and Muslims over blacks? Always thought they were #1 most hated. Because it is visible. It is something that is visible. The demographic shift in America is a like visible change. You can see it within your community if you have immigrants moving to your community. And many American communities, this is happening, okay? Yeah, of course it is. We've had waves of migrants every few years because we fucking bombed the shit out of a country, random bumfuck nowhere, and a wave of migrants comes, and then these dipshits blame all of society's problems on them, even though these problems are decades old at this point. But anyway, the pain, the suffering that people like JimmyTalks feel, okay, their material conditions, the abject poverty, that shit is real. Okay, it's just that their anger is misplaced because of the propaganda. They see what is visible, they hear the propaganda, and they fucking say Nazi shit, okay? And this is what the Nazis did, okay? This is we're just seeing the Nazis in America, okay? That's what MAGA is. That's what America First is. That's what all of it is. That's kind of what all of right-wing politics in general is. All conservative tradition, at least in the West.
First chapters of history, which is bringing up just mental images of the mobs full of torches and iron fist dictators. Like, for example, the guy with a mustache from Austria. That is now what you are. This is just really ironic. This is the savage...
Well, I thought that guy with the mustache from Austria was, like, based and red-pilled. So what is it? What is it? I don't get it. Is he based, chud, black-pilled? Or is he evil dictator? That, how dare you compare me to him? How dare you? Even when my rhetoric is strikingly similar to his.
Of our time. The media, the academia, the institutions, all of that, the bureaucratic overlords
yeah, man,
as well.
I don't know.
Formed this sort of narrative that I'm going to refer to as the liberal world order. They have perfected the art of turning something normal into something ghoulish and nightmarish. They have also weaponized psychology against the very people who built the West, and they frame anyone's instinct to protect their own heritage or their own towns or everything that they like and grew up with as deranged. It is an abomination. You cannot act like that. So dissent isn't really debated anymore. Somebody has a problem with something isn't debated, but merely you're actually diagnosed with something. What are you diagnosed with? Well, if you have concern for your community's future, you are now called something that ends with phobia. Homophobia, transphobia, xenophobia, whatever. And it's also called a mental defect, and this also requires a social intervention. And you need to go see a psychologist because you're clearly not right in the head.
Yeah, so this is what I advocate for. This is why I think that they are watching my videos, right? Because like, I'm pushing the envelope here. Okay, and I know that some of his fans are watching me. They could be sending my videos to him. And I recently was talking about the denazification of Germany following World War II. Okay, so unironically, I think they're watching me. I think they're taking notes. I think that, they've noticed what I'm saying. And it's true. The Nazis, immediately following World War II, it's not like they just magically stopped being Nazis. Oh, we are so sorry. Oh, we are sorry for killing the Jews. That's not what happened. When Germany was liberated, the Soviets, the British, the Americans, they all set up camps. And they took Nazi party members and they put them in these fun little camps, okay, and they deprogrammed them. Using, like, psychology and shit. Okay? You can read more about it. It's interesting. Now, in today's time, we have a more sophisticated, more robust method of treating people like this. And I think that we need to do it. We have actual Nazis in this country. And we can't just let them keep running around waving Nazi flags in the street and shit. That is dangerous to our democracy. Anyway.
Probably violent and extreme. But it's actually a pretty normal thought to have these thoughts all throughout human civilization. If you didn't want to be taken over. What's the problem with that, one may ask? Well, there isn't a problem with that. I'm here to tell you that. Now, let's move away from the mental image that I told you to generate earlier, and let's go to an actual city. Now, obviously, I'm American. You can hear that in my voice, but this is why I'm going to use an American example. Let's take New York City, or Los Angeles. These places were once beautiful bastions. They were the working class pride. They were the hubs of innovation and technology and factories, and people could easily find a job here and raise their family. They could even have a job in the suburbs if they didn't want to live in the city anymore. It didn't really matter. It was gritty, and it was forged by those people who came here, which is predominantly European settlers and their descendants. But these places have now undergone such an extreme, rapid shift into something that is seismic, almost to say. So from a relatively cohesive and self-reliant neighborhoods to what I would now refer to them as sprawling welfare enclaves. And all these neighborhoods now, they've rapidly changed, and these neighborhoods are even kept afloat a lot of the times because of the imported populations living off of welfare. And when you see this, the transformation is undeniable. We've seen in these cities the crime rate spiking up and a big strain on public services like public transit and also the hospital system and also the police force. And we've seen that the culture has changed now, and it's in phrases that everybody has heard 10 million times, like diversity is our strength. And this really just rings hollow against the reality of the fractured high-trust society that we once used to have. Yet, if somebody who's lived there their whole entire life, a lifelong resident, like maybe anybody that's just a truck driver.
Why do they ignore the fact that slaves and immigrants made this country what it is? That is an inconvenient set of facts that they do not want to engage with because they think it's like liberal brainwashing or some shit. I don't know, man. But you know, obviously it's true. The way that America, our come up story, you know, the way that we've fucking dominated the world, it was built on the backs of enslaved people. Okay, picking cotton, selling it, right? But not just that. I mean, like tons of our infrastructure was built by enslaved people, by immigrants, prisoners, right? Enslaved prisoners. They built tons of buildings as well. You know, this is just this is all very well documented. Although I'm sure it is being destroyed, just like all the other woke-tard brainwashing in the world, or in America.
Or a teacher, or a small business owner, or maybe somebody who's just grown up there, it doesn't matter what their job is, if they say that, I don't like this degeneration of my neighborhood, I don't like the way this is looking, I don't like the future outcast of all this is not what I grew up in, the response from the establishment is very fast, and it's also pretty merciless. They are immediately called a white supremacist, and their face is plastered along the headlines, they're blasted on social media, and it's alongside all these scary images of, like, skinhead rallies from the past, and they're putting your picture next to it to try and say that you're the same exact thing, even if you aren't. So, overnight, you've now become a villain in a narrative that's scripted.
Well, wait, how are you not? How are you not like the skinheads? Can you tell me how you're different? I'd be very interested in hearing your perspective on that, because, like, the way I see it, a lot of the things that you say is what the neo-Nazis, the skinheads, as you call them, that's what they say.
By those who've never even set foot in that neighborhood that you live in. It's all pretty ridiculous. Now, this tactic is not just sloppy journalism or somebody who just has an agenda, maybe it's one specific person. It's also not even ideological basis. It's actually a deliberate strategy of dehumanization. What I mean by this is, if they call you far right, it's not just a description of what your politics are. They're actually just trying to dehumanize you and make you out to be something that you are not. So, for example, if they compare you to someone like Hitler or maybe the neo-Nazis from American History X, the media and everybody else just short circuits on anything that's called a rational conversation. It just triggers a shame response. And in this shame response, if there is any association of defending of borders or traditions.
Look, I'm sorry, man. It's an effective tool. Okay, shaming Nazis has. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's worked. Okay, obviously we're here. You know, we're in the now time, and we've been shaming Nazis for decades. Okay, it's not enough, clearly, but it is an effective tool. It's an effective rhetorical tool to try and sway people. Okay, and also like make people rethink their positions. Like, you know, well, the Nazis are bad. Maybe if I am sounding like the Nazis, that's like not good. You know. So, anyway, all that is to say, you fucking should be ashamed at the end of the day, because you are a fucking Nazi, and I don't understand, bro. I thought he was based. I thought Hitler and the Nazis were all like based in Chudpilled or whatever, Chudjack. I don't know.
It is unspeakable.
Whatever the kids are saying.
This is the literal world order at play. But the goal here is quite clear. It is silence the voices before it can organize. Silence the native voices specifically. So in, let's say, England, for example, in the UK, this is even more brutal because, unlike here in the US, over in the UK, the police will knock on your door over a social media post that may or may not be critical about migration policies, which is a very real thing over there to be concerned about. Maybe, you know, you were going up to somebody's door and we're questioning them about it, but meanwhile, roving criminal gangs with knives who are trying to sexually assault people are not really taking care of.
Oh, yeah. Do you mean the Tories? Is that who you're talking about?
They're going after the guy who
is
questioning all this. And just for the rest of Europe,
I don't think they got knives,
Paris
though.
To the parts of Sweden that are now considered no-go zones, it's still a pattern that just repeats itself.
They got
If somebody from
lawyers
that country has some
instead.
concerns about the safety and maybe their own sovereignty, they are just called xenophobic, or, this guy is like Hitler too, even as people are still being assaulted and there's still cultural unrest. So the deeper betrayal lies in the framework itself. As I love to call it, the liberal world order. It brings up a moral binary system where the oppressed other, air quotes, oppressed other, be it activists, Antifa, or progressives, socialists, or the migrants, they are eternally virtuous, and they cannot do anything wrong, while the native European population is casted as the eternal oppressor.
Back to this.
This means that no matter what, even if they're getting an unfair treatment, it doesn't really matter because you're ultimately bad forever. So that means you're just going to have to get what you get. We need to get ours now, is basically what they're saying. But this inversion of justice just demands constant atonement from the very people whose ancestors tamed the wilderness and built the infrastructure and defended the freedoms that are now under siege. For example, do you want your country to remain recognizably yours? Well, actually, to the liberal world order, that's not patriotism, that is actually just psychosis in their vision. And so the working man, like you and I, or really the backbone of this nation, is now reduced to some sort of social disease or a pariah in his own lands where he grew up and lived in, that he cares about deeply, where his family lives, where his family's lived for hundreds of years even. His valid fears are now put into some sort of proof that he's depraved. See what he's saying right now? This guy is utterly sick and he's a Nazi. He's Hitler 2.0. This is not progress. To anybody that's sane and rational who sees this, it's obviously not progress. It's very wrong. It's very strange to a lot of people. They're like, why are you saying this to me? I'm obviously right. I'm just a normal guy. I go to work, I pay taxes, I do my job, I hang out with my family. Why am I being cast out and shunned like this? And well, it's because, the reason why is because it's
What? Yo, I'm just a normal guy. I just go to work and have friends. Why can't I hate brown people? Why? Why can't I want to forcibly remove them from my country? Yeah, man, because that's like what the fucking Nazis said. Oh, why do people keep calling me a Nazi? Oh, man. Yeah, fucking Dadoy, okay? You're dumbass. You're stupid. No, but you're not really, though. You know exactly what you're doing. You know what kind of rhetoric you're making. And you know that this shit is fascist, okay? I guess that you're either... I don't think you're grifting, okay? I think that you unironically believe that fucking fascism as an ideology is the way. And you're fucking stupid for it, okay? Because fascism is the dumbest fucking ideology I think I have ever had the misfortune of learning about. And if anybody wants to know more for some reason, and I really don't recommend it, okay? But, hey, you just don't want people to see the truth. Okay, like, go read Benito Mussolini. Go read his shit. It is fucking dribble. It's dumber than Trotsky. How do you do that? How do you make dumber shit than Trotsky, bro? Like, holy shit, sorry to piss off all the Trotskyists out there. Okay, you fucking revisionist. You revisionist scumbags. Alright, but like, Jesus, man, fascism is just... It's so dog shit, and also, the last time somebody tried it, it ended in a genocide. So, yeah, maybe we, shouldn't do that. I don't know.
Designed to break the spirit of resistance before it can fully form, before the body of people can turn it into a rallying cry. So, at the heart of all this madness, it's a profound psychological rift, and one that sets the ruling class apart from the people that they claim to serve. This is the basis of liberalism, and this started by a philosopher. His name was Roger Scruton, and he basically said this term is called oikophobia. And what this means, and I'll read it to you straight from Google, it is basically the contempt or rejection of one's own home, their own culture, or their own society, and it's often accompanied by a preference for other cultures. I'm sure you're envisioning right now the mobs of white people from middle-class suburbs in, New York City or something like that, and they're going to free Palestine chants, which doesn't really make sense, because they have nothing to do with Palestine, but their country's bad and Palestine's good. So I hope you understand the dichotomy that I explained earlier.
No,
so
the reason that people go to free Palestine rallies is because Palestine has everything to do with our country. Because Israel is an extension of our country, okay? I know that you don't think that... Let's actually start with what you think, Jimmy, okay? And then we'll move into what I think. Okay, so from your perspective, Israel is the Jew country, and they are evil, and they are puppeteering our country, and that's basically it. And Palestine, and what Israel is doing to Palestine has nothing to do with us. Israel is doing it. Okay. The way I see it, Israel was started by our country and another little country, okay, but that's not important right now. They were started by us. We have supported them every step of the way in this genocide. They have been brutalizing and oppressing Palestinians for 80 years, and now they have genocided them, And that's it. So our country did that. A lot of Americans understandably feel somewhat responsible for it. Even though we didn't do it, I didn't do it, you didn't do it, Israel did it. Israel is us. We are Israel. We're the United States of Israel, bro. That's it.
It's funny because this is basically the mirror image of true xenophobia, but it's actually far more insidious because it turns them inward and makes them attack their own people. And it compels the elite to dismantle the very foundations that even elevated them to that status in the first place.
No, it doesn't. We do not attack. When the fuck do we attack our own people? The only people that are our own that we attack are dipshits like you that think that the problem is fucking brown people. Or like trans people or some shit. It's not. It's the government. It's the rich people that control our government. They are the reason that Israel committed a genocide. They are the reason that we have committed multiple genocides. That's it. And if you want to go way back, it's the reason that we had chattel slavery. Okay? It's all because of rich people. Our society, just like most societies of the past, it exists to serve the elite. Okay, that is what we are fighting. We're not really fighting you, we're fighting what you support. And we are fighting your advocacy for it. Okay, I don't hate you, JimmyTalks. You're in the same boat that I'm in. Literally right down to the fact that we're both content creators. You are another dumbass on the internet making stupid fucking videos that most people hate when they watch it. Okay, maybe not most people. You do have a lot of fucking either bots or whatever in your comments. Or real people somehow. I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyway, you are just like me, except you are advocating for something that I think is evil and brutal and is going to result in our country committing more atrocities. And I don't want to see that happen. So that's what my advocacy revolves around.
Love of home is instinctive for anybody, really. It's woven into the fabric of human existence and our human psyches. So when I say something like nations are not abstract ideas, like your papers just to be a citizen, doesn't really just make you a citizen. Like if you lived in, I don't know, Afghanistan for 30 years, then you moved to America and you became a citizen. Are you really an American just because you have a piece of paper, but you didn't even live here for most of your life? That's one of the topics of hot debate.
Yes. Yes, legally. Of course. Okay, and here's how it works, man. People, they come here and they assimilate. And you can say all day, you can shout, they're not assimilating, they're not, look, they're brown. They're not assimilating. Motherfucker, if they didn't assimilate, neither did you. Do you still eat Italian food? You motherfucker, you fucking Italian motherfucker, you, I know you. I know what you are. You know, you said your family immigrated from Italy, I believe, or maybe I'm wrong about that. Okay, but I know that you said your parents came through Ellis Island. I remember when you said that shit, JimmyTalks. I remember because you know what I said? I said, get out. Get out, you're a fucking immigrant, okay? And I was fucking with you because you are an American. And so are Somalis. Somalis are fucking American. Literally, 90% of them are American citizens, and they were born here. They were born and raised in America. And just because they enjoy Somali food, like you enjoy Italian food, I'm sure. And you are fucking Italian. Does that mean that you didn't assimilate? Does that mean that because you like Italian food, you like Italian music, you hang out with Italians, does that mean that you hate America? Fuck no, it doesn't. Does that mean you didn't assimilate? No, it doesn't mean that either. You assimilated. They assimilated. We be assimilated. We are Americans. That's it. That's all it is. But anyway, at the end of the day, your citizenship is just words on a paper. Okay, that's all it is. That's all citizenship is. You know, you are correct that your national identity is separate from your citizenship. You can be a dual citizen. You know, you can identify, you can have a separate national identity and still be an American citizen. Alright. Sorry about that, stream went down. It's gonna keep doing that. Anyway, back to this.
Right now, but in my opinion,
forgot what I was talking about.
Abstract ideas. They are actually living extensions of family and blood, and dare I say it, soil. Because if you say that, then again, you're called a Nazi. This is the dog whistles that they use. This is an attack. But this is how human civilization has worked for thousands of years up until this point. We actually live in a strange time. We live in an anomaly compared to what was normal for hundreds of years now. Yet, for these elite classes, the lycophobia, you know, that are the ones that are populating all of the newsrooms that are in all of the media, all of the university lecture halls, and all of the boardrooms and the DEI corporate departments, this attachment is horrible. This is the worst thing ever to exist. They look at Western history not with pride in its achievements and all the great things that it's done for literally everybody. Like even on this channel, I've had my gripes with the Enlightenment. But ultimately, this was a Western idea, and I'm still proud of my ancestors for doing that. Or even the miracles of the Industrial Revolution. Or the unyielding defense against tyranny. This is one of the hallmarks of our United States Constitution and our Bill of Rights. But they meet this all with a disdain, which is quite strange because they live in that society that has benefited so much from it. Instead, to them, the West is kind of just like a big playbook. It's a big ledger. It's a big record-keeping book of crime. It is colonialism. It's slavery. It's patriarchy. Literally everything about the West is bad. Every statue of a founder of something, or every holiday that is maybe in a Christian tradition, like Christmas, or a national holiday like the 4th of July.
No, man. No, the things that you just mentioned are things that benefited them, that have benefited rich people and the politicians that they pay. Okay, slavery was extremely profitable because it was free labor. They didn't have to pay them. Okay, that's just one thing. Colonial colonies, okay, colonial states, puppet states, whatever you want to call them, those are also very, very effective tools of profiteering. Okay, why? Because you can do resource extraction. You can even maybe do a little enslavement of the local population, the indigenous people. That's the way it works, man.
See, that just favors the people who are from that country is seen as complicit in this imaginary original sin, so to say. This way of thinking, this strange pathology, it just manifests itself into a relentless campaign of self-erasure. Consider this. Look at how the media frames historical figures like, let's say, the American founders, or British imperialists. You know, they're not as flawed men who forged massive empires of liberty and did many great things, but they're seen as irredeemable bigots.
I like it how we called it an imaginary original sin. Like, look, man, you can say that, like, it doesn't matter anymore. Slavery was so long ago, it doesn't matter anymore. But, like, you can't say it's imaginary. Like, you can't say that the exploitation didn't happen. The fuck are you?
He was bad, and their legacies have to be scrubbed clean forever, for good. Even people like George Washington. An example here would be Theodore Roosevelt. He once said he wanted to create a new American race from all of the Europeans that came here to America through their shared sacrifice. But today this would be called crazy and eugenicist. These people, they can't celebrate the pioneers who cleared the land.
Yeah, because it was crazy. Yeah, where do you think the Nazis got their eugenics ideas from? Thomas Jefferson owned slaves. Like, the founding fathers, they weren't these perfect individuals that did nothing wrong. They did terrible shit. The only one that advocated for the abolishment of slavery was John Adams. That's it.
That they now live in, or the soldiers who bled for it to take it over, again, that they live in. Instead, they just take every single grievance from distant corners of the globe and they position the native citizen as a perpetual villain. It doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't even matter who you are. You're always, always going to be the bad person. You have the original sin. So the result that we have from this is moral grandstanding and moral theater where the people who are native, the native population to that country...
You're not a bad person unless you advocate for the things that you advocate for. Okay? Like, yeah, I don't feel bad about slavery. I didn't fucking enslave anyone. Maybe my ancestors did. They probably fucking did, okay? That sucks. Whatever. So what? You know, what I care about is what people advocate for now, in the today time. Okay? Now, that being said, anybody in the past that enslaved people, they were fucking evil. They were evil scumbags, okay? The founding fathers were evil for the most part. Again, John Adams. You know, he was all right. He was probably still kind of racist, if I had to guess. But he didn't approve of slavery. He wanted to abolish slavery. That was something that he advocated for. Okay, based, epic. I like that. But I don't fucking feel bad. Why would you? Nobody does. You know, this whole idea of like the woke-tards, they just feel white guilt all the time. They just feel guilty because of the sins of the father. It's like, no, we don't. The fuck? Like, you're saying that. You're saying that we feel bad. We don't. Is there an outcast 10%, you know, that is like somewhat white guilt coded? You know, sure, yeah. I think it's fucking weird when people like put chains on, and they're like, this is what my ancestors did to black people. You know, that's cringe. Okay, that's weird. But anyway, that's just not the majority. Okay, we're not all, like, whipping ourselves, like, I'm sorry I'm white, sorry I'm male. It's just not happening.
Forced into perpetually apologizing. Me personally, and a lot of my viewers, maybe not all of them, but 99.9% of them, we all disagree with this, and we also wholeheartedly reject it. And I'm proud to say that I don't feel this original sin. I think that, in a way, is,
good for you, bro.
Fucking stupid. So when I say, when demographic shift leads to cultural dilution, like even for specific examples like a Christmas time market or something like that, it's just a generic idea. These now become generic winter festivals, or like when we say Merry Christmas, and they say, no, actually, it's Happy Holidays. Or when the national anthem starts getting booed at sporting events like the NFL, when we've seen that kneeling was very popular for quite some time, the elites in charge,
war on Christmas,
they see this not as a loss, but they actually see this as liberation. It's a good thing. Replacement is redemption. The white people are bad. They have original sin. They have to pay for it. This is why they empathize with the newcomer, the new arrival, who doesn't care about them and really just milks the welfare system while scorning at the people who lived here and their unease with the whole entire situation that's unfolding in front of them. And these people's inverted worldviews that goes against natural history, the working class family that is displaced and moved from their ancestral neighborhoods where they may have lived for 100 years, 200 years, they deserve it. They deserve discomfort. This is poetic justice for centuries of being privileged, even if they grew up poor and so did their whole entire familial line since they came here from, I don't know, maybe from Ireland to Boston, for example. Nope, they have a privilege, even though they toiled in factories for centuries now. It doesn't matter, you have a privilege. It's very unfair and it's very mean. It's not kind at all, and it's just dehumanizing. This isn't politics anymore. This is just a secular religion at this point. And in this secular religion, it's guilt. And it demands human sacrifice in the form of destroying your own sovereignty in your own countries and by silencing you and your heritage. And in this strange secular religious cult, dare I say it, the high priest, these are typically the people in the media, I'm just making up an example here, I hope you understand, they ensure that anybody who's talking about resistance is met with immediate...
Just so you understand, these, sorry, this may seem a little off topic, okay, but the founding fathers, which you put in such high regard, they weren't even Christians, bro. They weren't. They were goddamn heretics. Like, literal, I mean that in the most literal way possible. They were damned heretics. And if you don't believe me, learn about it, okay? If for those of you that don't understand what I'm talking about, the founding fathers were what this may piss off like one or two people watching this fucking video. Okay, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry if I'm calling you a heretic. I'm so sorry. But the founding fathers were Unitarians, okay? This is seen as heresy by every Christian church ever, all throughout time, right? You know, probably since before the Nicene Creed. Like, Unitarianism is kind of a hot topic, and for a good reason, okay? Because, like, you know, the whole thing about Christianity is the Trinity. That's like one of the... I'm not gonna get into all of it. I'm not gonna put you to sleep with it, okay? But, like, this is my religion, okay? I'm a Christian. I know about this shit. The Founding Fathers, they look, and here's the thing. You know, I've been talking shit. I called the Founding Fathers evil. I like the Founding Fathers, okay? They were evil, okay, for sure. But they did a bunch of shit that I like. Okay, straight up. Like, yeah, they enslaved people, okay? Evil. Evil shit. Terrible. Unforgivable. Okay, they were heretics. They had some crazy ideas about my religion. Okay? But, like, you know, they were alright. Like, they were guys I'd probably have a beer with. For real. Okay, and I'd talk shit about them behind their back. Okay, but like, you know, that's just because they were enslavers, they were heretics. You know, still though, they were kinda the fathers of liberalism. And I think liberalism did a great job for its time. It's run its course. Okay, now we're at the death of the empire. Hope that maybe hopefully. Goddamn, I mean, that being said, I don't want the American empire to die, right? I would like to see it reform. I'd like to see it change. Okay, but at this rate, like, there's no saving it, okay? It's like I was saying earlier. If we go to war with Iran, we're dead, okay? The country is dead. The empire is dead.
You're banned off of Facebook. You're banned off of Instagram. You're banned off of YouTube. You might lose your job as well. You're mentally ill, and now we're going to brand you as a social outcast. And all the way, by the way, also, this is the road to fascism, and you're probably just like Hitler.
Yo, you are taking the words right out of my mouth, bro. How did you do that?
This guy is a pretty normal concern. Now,
so
I think a lot
true.
of this comes from the sort of political elite class that rules over us. I want to describe this as the anywheres versus the somewheres. This psychological divide, so to say, it kind of goes into class warfare, and it takes the rootless populations, like all of those from, to put it bluntly, all of those from the third world countries that are invading our country, against the grounded patriots who've lived in their own countries for hundreds of years now, typically the Europeans and the Americans. So what do I mean by the anywheres versus the somewheres? The anywheres are the elite journalists, and they are the tech moguls, and they are the policy makers, and they are the think tanks. These people kind of have useless jobs when you think about it, but they derive their identity from credentials. I'm very smart because I have a master's degree in communications. Well, honestly, that kind of sounds fucking useless. What does that even mean? You know, like a doctor, you know what a doctor does, you know what a lawyer does, you know what a pipe welder does, you know what a car mechanic does. What exactly does a master's degree in communications at a policy think tank even do? Your job sounds useless and it sounds stupid, but to them, this is a badge of honor. These people come from global networks.
Yeah, there are a lot of nothing jobs in this country. That's what I call them. But, you know, there are different words for it. Useless jobs. He's right about this. Okay, that being said, communications is a valid study. Okay, it is. It is, and it's one that a lot of people choose because it's useful in a lot of different fields. Okay, marketing is just one of them. And anyway, we need marketers in this system because that's capitalism. Okay, you want to do more capitalism? Well, guess what? You're gonna need more marketing. Okay, we're gonna do more marketing to the consumers. Okay, that's what capitalism is. But I think that this person doesn't really want capitalism. He wants to do away with it. He wants to do fascism. Okay, he just doesn't realize that, like, you are going to continue this trend of consolidating money into the hands of the few. Or maybe he does recognize that and he thinks it'll be awesome, you know, me lord,
Not from a place.
me lord.
If you go between Manhattan penthouses where the rent is $5,000 a month, or even probably more, or just any sort of retreat, only where the rich people can live, and it's insulated from the fallout of their policies that they created, their very damaging policies that they created, in their own little sector where they live. To these sorts of people,
Socialism is when no money.
It's just a stamp on your passport. It's just a market to exploit. We need to make sure the GDP goes up, and that's really all that matters. And it's not really a sacred trust and bond between people. Now, on the other hand, by contrast, the somewheres.
By the way, Hassan's degree is not in communications. It's in poli-sci. It's in political science. Which is another legitimate study. It has more of a narrow use case, though. He has found a kind of a unique way to use his degree, which is through Twitch streaming.
Workers in the Midwest. They're people like you and I. They are farmers in the rural countryside. They are the tradesmen. These are the people whose lives are tethered. They are rooted in a specific soil. rooted in soil. I just realized I said that, no pun intended, but no, really. These people have built communities, they pay taxes, and they bear the brunt of all this unchecked migration, this unchecked mass migration. So when the wages start to stagnate because corporations started to flood the labor market with low-skilled imports and H-1Bs who are willing to accept a lower wage, then take all their money and send it back to whatever country they came from before they leave in 5 or 10 years, it's the somewheres, the normal people who lose their jobs and their futures. When all these schools start to overflow and they look completely different and the hospitals start facing immense amounts of pressure because they can't just keep up with the patient loads anymore, it's their children who suffer diluted opportunities and heightened risk in an unsafe neighborhood and maybe not even being able to advance their own lives. So the media's demonization of the normal people, or as I said, the somewheres, this is class contempt that's dressed up as compassion. One of the reasons for all the replacement, it is also just to save money a lot of the times. The right-wing GOP class, the Republicans here in America, for example, they
Man, the problem isn't that hospitals... And we're back. And we're back. Easy. Easy, yeah. Yeah, that time it lasted, like 30 seconds. Wasn't even that long. Anyway. What were we talking about?
People, or as I said, the somewheres. This is class contempt that's dressed up as compassion. One of the reasons for all the replacement, it is also just to save money a lot of the times. The right-wing GOP class, the Republicans here in America, for example, they want unchecked migration because this makes the GDP go up if you pay people less. They're all saving money, so they don't really give a fuck.
Dude, it's all about money. Okay, the reason that migrants come here is because we bomb them for money. The reason that bombing them makes us money is because we can put people in power, right? If we do a regime change. We can bomb them to, like, threaten them and make deals. And, of course, we can do resource extraction. And then when the bombing is done and the migrants come over here, we have a new wave of migrants to exploit. Okay, so it's all about money. There is no fucking deeper white people must die replacement theory, okay? It's just Nazi shit. You're just doing Nazi shit. And you are obfuscating the reality, which is that we are exploiting people, brown people, and then they come over here to escape the killing and the brutality, and then we exploit them some more over here.
And then on the left, the Democrat progressive side, they typically want all this mass unchecked migration so they can guarantee votes for themselves. Neither of them give a fuck. And ultimately, at the end of the day, both of the people making these policies on both the left and the right, they are still the rich people in their ivory towers who, again, don't give a fuck because they don't face the brunt reality of all these things. These people are vipers. And if you display your contempt with all this,
he is right about that, though.
Backwards. You are a stupid redneck. You're probably at the KKK Klan meetings or rallies or whatever the hell they like to make up or say about you, and you have an outdated notions of borders, and you're just uneducated and stupid, and you're a bigot. But as I said already, this is just a facade for being predatory on the economy and making themselves richer. Open borders, obviously, suppress the wages by a lot, and according to economic studies even, funneling profits upwards to the anywheres while hollowing out the somewheres. The somewheres attachment to their somewhere is not bigotry. It is not bigotry at all. It's survival, and I'm sick of that.
You know what a solution to that is? What if, hear me out, what if we paid the immigrants more money? And then we also, at the same time, paid non-immigrants, American citizens, more money. What if we did that? That's not possible.
I this notion, and I'm glad they accept me anyway, believe what I want to me, because they're going to hate me anyways. So you can lie about me all you want, but this is just the fact of the matter. You're going against human nature here, and I think it's very wrong. What's even more salt in the wound is here in the U.S. anyways, a lot of these people will have jobs and they won't pay taxes, but they'll still qualify for welfare. See, they don't give a fuck about you. In the eyes of the elite, this is a threat when you say that you don't like this stuff, because this creates friction in the global world order. This is a world where humans are just GDP factors. They're economic units. They're all expendable, and they're also all interchangeable. That's not true. That's not right. That's not even fair or kind or empathetic to the human soul. This has gone so far to the elites where they dislike this that it's now turned into anarcho-tyranny, believe it or not. For example, in the UK, again, I'm not British, but I do hear a lot about what goes on over there. They don't really do anything about the migrant crime waves. They kind of ignore it, and they even send cops to your door for saying that this is a problem. And it's not just the UK, but we're just using them as an example. Or the open-air drug markets in other countries. And it happens in the US. I haven't seen it personally, but I have seen this on YouTube videos where there's a migrant without a job who's just standing in a park saying he has drugs for sale. They don't really do anything about that. They don't do anything about the sexual assault gangs. The only thing that they do is they say that we have to give compassion to them. We have to show humanity. But that doesn't make sense because this is some crazy shit going on here. Again, here in America,
they are drug dealers.
Violent offenders tend to walk free. Like the
just so you understand, Americans import the most drugs into our country. Okay, obviously, because think about it. Like, fuck it. Like, an American goes through the border, and it's like, whatever. You know, yeah, you're an American, alright, go through. Yeah. American citizens transport the most drugs over the border, bruh. But the immigrants are selling it. Yeah, I mean, where's the evidence? Let me see it. Because you know what I do see a lot of? I see a lot of immigrants working in construction. I see them working blue collar. I see them working jobs that Americans don't want to work so much, like, you know, cleaning toilets or picking apples, right? Working in the field, right? But they do blue collar work as well, which Americans are more inclined to do. But that's what I see immigrants doing. Where is the evidence that they be selling drugs all over the place? Can I see the evidence? Can I see that?
Killer Irina Zarutska. He was probably in jail. I don't really remember, but it was over 20 times. I don't remember the exact amount. It may have been 15 or 20. Regardless, it was a very large amount. If you're getting arrested 15 or 20 times, you're actually going to jail, catching charges. There's probably something we should do about that. Maybe we should keep them in jail. But their backgrounds are shielded. This is what they call them. They call them trauma survivors. Oh, they're a product of their environment, and their environment is like this because of white people being bad. It's so stupid. Anybody with a brain knows that this is bullshit. Meanwhile, the native citizen, the person who has a problem with everything that's been going on, who dares to call out this chaos, or even film it and post it online, or demand the cops to do something about it, they become the target. This is anarcho-tyranny. This is how far they've gone with this. For example, let's say you defend your home from a home invader. Let's say this is in a state like New York or California. The cops are probably going to arrest you first. The guy who's got shot the fuck up like 6 times because you have an AR-15 or a Glock, whatever, it doesn't really matter. That guy's probably going to go to jail and they'll question him, but they're going to go way harder on you. You'll probably be prosecuted. We even have carry insurance now because you're going to go to jail anyways. It's like you're guilty until proven innocent. Or another example, like January 6th with, I should make a whole entire video. We'll have a grandma, for example, who was there protesting a 7-year-old lady.
Okay. Look, no, that's it's not really guilty until proven innocent. So I was talking about this, not this specifically, but my my lawyer personality. Okay, I was talking with people in my comments about well, the Constitution, and they were like, well, you're no expert, and I was like, yeah, I'm not a constitutional lawyer. Okay, I'm not a lawyer at all. But I studied this a little bit in school. It was also a special interest of mine for a long time. For those of you that don't know, J-Star, I be liking the law, okay? I be liking learning about it, okay? More so in the past than in the current time, okay? But anyway, all that is to say, I know some shit about this, and arresting someone after they defended themselves is not guilty until proven innocent. Okay, here's why. Because if you murder a person and it's obvious that you murdered them, right? There are witnesses, or you called the police and you were like, I murdered someone, get over here. Okay, or like you got the gun in your hand and the blood is on your hands. Okay, you are probably going to be arrested because you did a murder. Okay, now that being said, if you defended yourself, that is called a justified murder. Okay, it is a justification for murder. Okay, and it makes it legal. Okay, a legal killing. If you kill someone to defend yourself, it is legal, but the burden of proof is on you. You have to, testify. You have to give your statement. You don't have to testify, but you need to tell your story. You need to tell your version of events. You need to be like, this is what happened. This is why I murdered this person. They were trying to kill me. Okay, this is just normal. Now, that being said, even when you murder someone, if you defended yourself and it's obvious, you might not be arrested for it at all. You'll still have to go to court, a trial, most likely. Okay, like the court will need to hear your case. Alright, that's my understanding, is that's how it works. but you're not even necessarily arrested for it. But an argument could be made that anybody that murders someone, that did a murder, justified or not, they should be arrested. Okay, because they just murdered someone. Okay, so basically the thinking is if there is a murder that happens, then priority number one should be figuring out what the fuck happened, and if the murderer was justified or not. And so arresting them is kind of part of that process, you know? So, like, me personally, if I ever kill someone in self-defense, and, you know, hope that doesn't happen, I really fucking hope not, but if it does, I'll probably be arrested, and you're not gonna hear me bitching about it. Probably. I mean, I don't know what the fuck I'll do if I kill someone, but like, I'm not gonna fucking cry about it, most likely, like, because this is just, that it's understandable, okay? If you murder someone, expect to go to jail, unless it's, like, on your property, and you killed a burglar, a home invader. Okay, outside of that, you're probably going to jail.
This picture of the old lady. If she is protesting something, she is arrested, and it's maybe even called something like a hate crime or something. The disparity here is...
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, but that's not in our country. There are people being arrested in our country for their First Amendment rights. Okay, they're being arrested for their speech. And it's fucked up, but I don't hear you talking about it. I wonder why that is.
Absolutely disgusting, and it's absolutely jaw-dropping, and it's ridiculous. The elite target the compliant people, which is typically the native class, again, because it's low risk. Cartels and gangs and illegal migrants, they fight back and they create strife. Taxpayers will just fold under the social and economic pressure of having to go to jail or losing their jobs. A migrant doesn't give a fuck. They don't have a job anyways, and they're going to get their benefits anyways, and there's like 15 of them. They'll just pull their welfare money together to get you out of jail and bail you out whatever your bail is. I seen a Tyler Oliveira video where these pickpockets have been arrested up to 50 plus times. Pickpockets being arrested 50 times, and they just keep releasing them. This is so ridiculous. The reason why they do this is because it's demoralizing. It's a demoralizing vice, and it convinces people that the law no longer protects them, it only controls them. That's why they do this. Now, let me explain the pincer attack. I will, if you don't know what that means right away, that's okay. That's why I'm here to explain.
The law never protected us. Let me tell you what the law does. You see, before the abolishment of slavery, there wasn't much need for police. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. There was, kind of a version of police, but it looked nothing like what we see today. Okay. Of course, there were courts, there were trials, there were criminals. Okay, that all had been happening. Okay. But crimes were, not as, there weren't as many laws to break for if you were the average person. Okay, I'm gonna get to that. Like, basically, people weren't, like, going to jail, they weren't going to prison for things that weren't, like, robbing and stealing and killing. Okay, which was very common in the old days. Okay, it was the 1800s after all. If I lived in the 1800s, I'll tell you what I'd be doing. I'd be stealing people's identities. Because that's like that was like so easy and safe. Okay, just take people's identities. Fucking Dadoy. Anyway, once slavery was abolished, they included a nice little asterisk, and they said, anybody that is imprisoned can be enslaved. Okay, and so the game changed. The game became, let's imprison as many people as we can. So they started writing all these bullshit laws. This is where jaywalking came from. This is where loitering came from. Okay? That's where these stupid fucking laws came from. It's so they could arrest black people and enslave them in a more convoluted system. That's it. Okay, now, throughout the 20th century, lots of new crimes were added, yes, but in the early part of the 20th century, you saw a sharp increase in violent crime. And this is because of material conditions. This is because of the Depression. Okay, then following the war, World War II, FDR's alphabet soup made people's lives a lot better, a lot more comfortable. Men came home from the war, they started families, they bought a house, they got the car and the kids and the wife. It was easy, okay? And life was good. Okay, this is because of all of the welfare that FDR did. Okay, FDR did a bunch of welfare. They called it FDR's alphabet soup. You may have learned about it in, fucking middle school. Anyway, now over the course of our parents' lives, life got not so good. Life got bad. Okay, life got hard. And now we're in the today time. And things are real hard. Houses takes 50 years to buy a house. Buy a house in 50 years. What the fuck? What, 50 years for a house? 50? Huh? Okay, that's life now. Okay, so things are hard. So you're seeing... But crime still isn't going up. Okay, and I think that this is for two reasons. I think this is because of modern technology. Right? It makes people more docile. I also think this is because of the overwhelming strength of our police and intelligentsia. So, that's it. But anyway, I forgot what we were talking about, bro. What were we talking about?
It's a demoralizing device, and it convinces people that the law no longer protects them, it only controls them. That's why they do this.
Oh, yeah. My point is that the law, from its inception, was to control us, and they never had to protect us. This precedent was set in a case somewhat recently, I think within the last 10 years, right? There was a guy in New York. Here's what happened. There was a guy in New York, and he was on the subway. And there was a crazy homeless man. I think he was homeless. And he just pulled out a knife and started killing. He just started stabbing people, okay? I just want to say, before moving on, terrifying situation to be in. Like, imagine you're just on the subway, and, a guy is anybody that's been on the subway, you've seen homeless people. Sometimes they're off their rocker. Most of the time, they're just, sleeping or whatever. But imagine you're just on the subway and a guy just starts fucking stabbing. Okay, crazy. Anyway, this brave man, he saw the stabbing happening, and he decided before the guy got to him, he was going to try to stop him. So, I think what happened was, and maybe I made this up in my head, it's been a while since I read about this case, but he the knife got stabbed through the guy's hand, right? He was trying to stop the guy, and the knife went through his hand, and they wrestled a little bit, and he got him on the ground, but the guy ended up stabbing him a bunch more times in his chest. Okay, and here's the kicker: there were cops on the subway, and they were watching all of this happen. That's right, they were in the car over. They were in the next car over. And they were looking through the window. They were watching this guy get stabbed. They were watching all of these people get stabbed. And they were bleeding and dying. And they watched. And understandably, when the guy that stopped the attacker, when he went to the hospital and he, by some miracle recovered. Like I said, he was stabbed multiple times in his organs. He sued the police department. He sued the NYPD. Okay, it's just that the fucking police department won. They won, and the judges ruled that the police do not have the responsibility to protect you. Okay, they can let you die. So then the question is, well, what's their job? Okay, and I can answer that for you. That's right. And in fact, I do have the education to back up what I'm about to say. I do have the knowledge. Okay. The job of the police is to find criminals and arrest them. That's it. Their job is to find criminals and arrest them. So they don't have to protect you. They just have to find criminals and arrest them. That's it. Okay, so anyway, moving on.
Let me explain the pincer attack. I will, if you don't know what that means right away, that's okay. That's why I'm here to explain this. Now, there's a book out there. I haven't totally read it all the way. It was written by a former Trotskyist, and I don't like that kind of stuff because that led to neoconservatism that we see nowadays. But regardless, it's still a book that I need to finish. It's
Trotsky is a fucking moron. Okay, thank you.
Revolution, and it explains how this is carried out. This book was written in 1941, by the way. So talk about time traveling. But anyways, it explains it like this essentially: a technocratic elite captures all the institutions, meaning the academia, the law, politics, all the important positions in a society. And once these technocrats take control, they just prioritize control. They don't actually prioritize the citizens. They just prioritize controlling you. The high-class people, like the globalists and the corporations and all of those sorts of figures that are just against the average citizen, they ally with the low class of people, like the welfare dependents and all the new arrivals and all the fresh imports off a boat from a desert country that nobody really knows about to crush the middle class, which happens to be the native class. These are the self-reliant people who embody the old republic, so to say, the country that we look at when we think of it traditionally. Like the United States, if you were to look at it traditionally, you would think of this as all the Anglo-Saxons, or even in England and Britain itself, the Anglo-Saxons, or in Italy, the Italians, something like that. The technocratic elite, they use all these imports and fresh arrivals to crush these middle class, the old republic. The corporations want all of the cheap labor that the imports bring them, that we talk about time and time again on this channel, and the progressives want all the votes that all these new arrivals can give them by giving them government handouts and what have you. Then there's billions of dollars that go to suppressing wages, and the native population face affirmative action and cultural erasure. This is the pincer attack here. This pincer attack, it strips away people's ability to do anything, or in other words, agency. And it turns the country not into a nation that is a coherent unit of almost a familial bond, but it's now a profit engine. GDP go up, only numbers that matter. Green line go up, good. Red line go down, bad. If you object to any of this anyways, you are the enemy of progress. It is very, very backwards. The fraud of all of this, though, has a very big hypocrisy that a lot of people have woken up to when it comes to their traditionalist sense and their nativist instincts, really, I would say, because this is normal for all of human civilization to care about your people and your country. The fraud unravels even more when a certain country is always exempt from any of these sorts of labels, but they carry out exactly what they are typically accusing people of being or doing. That is Israel. The West says nationalism is evil, except for the Jewish ethno-state, which is, we already see the hypocrisy here. There's billions of dollars in aid to fortify Israel's borders and their Iron Dome and their missile defense system. And not only that, but there's also a very important book that I've also put it in one of my recommended reading videos.
Yeah, he's right about this. He's right to call out the hypocrisy here. Yeah, and liberals do this, okay? They say, nationalism bad. Nationalism bad. Israel good, though. Israel is a hyper-nationalist country. It's kind of their whole thing, is that they are a Jewish ethno-state. They are the foundation of Israel is the Jewish identity and Jewish supremacy over all others. And yet, our politicians be supporting it. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder why that is. I'm sure it has nothing to do with moneyed interest and everything to do with Jewish mind control.
The Israel lobby. This book talks specifically about AIPAC, and this was before AIPAC was even a common
Jewish mind control.
It talks about the Jewish lobbying that has all of our politicians by an iron grip. If you step out of line, we will make sure to pull off your funding, and we will fund the other guy with pretty much unlimited money so that we make sure he wins. So politicians now, they conflate U.S. and Israeli interest, and they say this is for America's interest, but it's actually for Israel's interest. See right now the ongoing, we don't know how it's going to go as at the time of me making this video, the war in Iran. So this particularism for me attitude that Israel has and this hypocrisy, it just shows the elite's true motivations. You have to dissolve the West and the white people while safeguarding your own. Dare I say it, YouTube will be mad about that. There's just evidence, it's proof in the pudding right there. This is just the blueprint for native dispossession. That's all it is at the end of the day. And to counter all this, this is why I have so many videos saying nationalism is the way forward. I'm pretty sure actually I have a video titled exactly that. Nationalism is the only way forward. I even seen a video of some guy reacting to my video. The video was called something like JimmyTalks is the most retarded racist ever. It was some guy I'd never even heard of that actually Tom Foe, many of you also follow him, watch me as well.
Oh, that's me.
He sent me that video. He's like, dude, somebody made a video about me. He also made a video about me as well.
Yo, they're talking about me.
Nationalism is retarded and this and that. These are the that I spoke about in this video.
I did not say the R word. I did not say that. Hey, whoa, bro. Whoa, listen. I am a woke-tard. Okay, we do not say that word. We don't say the R word, okay? That's fucked up. That is almost slanderous.
I think it was. I know it's natural. So what exactly is the problem here? Well, they've fallen for the brainwashing. It's really just that simple. Reality is going to fight back. Maybe not at that guy in particular. God bless him even if he hates me. If he has a problem with me and he thinks everything I say is wrong, then that's fine. But it tends to go even further with leftists. They want you dead. So,
no. Whoa. I never said that. I don't want you dead. Okay. Sometimes the only like violent fantasies I've had for my ideological opponents. I was talking about this earlier. Tucker Carlson, he's a person, right? But like these are like vivid memories I have. Okay? And I've never felt that way about you, JimmyTalks, but I do think what you were saying earlier, and dude, they have been watching my videos. They're taking notes, bruh. They're taking notes. Yeah, you do have like psychological issues. Like you need to be evaluated, you need help. Okay? But anyway, let's run that back. Yo, he was
the people that I spoke about in this video.
Yo, J-Star mentioned.
Shocked to even hear that because I thought that this was.
That's so crazy.
I didn't think it was. I know it's natural. So what exactly is the problem here? Well, they've fallen for the brainwashing. It's really just that simple. Reality is going to bite back. Maybe not at that guy in particular. God bless him even if he hates me.
God bless him. God bless him.
That's all it is at the end of the day. And
Yo, I got
this is why I
guys. I can't believe this. I got blessed by the JimmyTalks. That's crazy.
Dare I say it? YouTube will be mad about that. There's just evidence that's proof in the pudding right there. This is just the blueprint for native dispossession. That's all it is at the end of the day. And to counter all this is why I have so many videos saying nationalism is the way forward. I'm pretty sure, actually, I have a video titled exactly that. Nationalism is the only way forward. I even seen a video of some guy reacting to my video. The video was called something like, JimmyTalks is the most retarded racist ever. There's some guy I'd never even heard of that actually Tom Foe, many of you also follow him, and you watch me as well. He's a friend of mine. He sent me that video.
What did I call them? Dude, somebody reacted to your video. Dude. Oh, that's crazy, bro. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. I posted it a while ago, man. That video is kind of old. Let me see here. I got JimmyTalks demonstrates his inability to care about people that are not white. I think that was my first video about him. Oh, JimmyTalks might be the dumbest racist alive. That was the title of the video, bro. Wait. Let's get the recap.
I love the blacks love me, and then does that BS.
Yeah, that's what he does. He just lies. Black people, they love me. They do. They invited me to the cookout. They did. I said, wow, what a beautiful barbecue. This is, wow. That is unbelievable. Those ribs, they smell delicious. Oh, I love the collard greens too, a little too spicy. Why am I like this, bro? Why the fuck did I say that, man? Okay, anyway.
Video about me as well. And I was like, who the hell even is this?
Dude, I haven't made a video about you. I watch all your videos, bro. I'm your biggest fan. I am your biggest fucking fan, bro. There ain't nobody else watching all the JimmyTalks videos. Holy shit, man. Like, come on. Give respect where it's due.
And come on, nationalism is retarded and this and that. These are the kinds of people that I spoke about in this video now.
Yeah, I did say that. I didn't use that word, but yeah.
I didn't think it was. I know it's natural. So what exactly is the problem here? Well, they've fallen for the brainwashing. It's really just that simple. The woke mind virus. It got me. It got me, chat. If he has a problem with me and he thinks everything I say is wrong, then that's fine. But it tends to go even further with leftists. They want you dead. So I can still say. Yeah, I mean, like I already talked about that line. Okay, yeah. Look, Jimmy, I am willing to meet you in the marketplace of ideas. Okay, I think that you are a vile racist. I really, look, this may be a platitude, this may be a trope, but I really just want what's best for you. I am deeply concerned for our country and the rhetoric that people like you are pushing. I think that you need psychological help. Okay, I think that we in the now time, we have the technology, we have the means to help people like you. But that's pretty much it. So anyway, I'm going to defend myself, and I am not going to accept these sorts of attacks and smears and destruction of my culture. So anyways, that's what I mean when I say God bless them, but I'm not going to just lie back and let you attack me, or what have you. Not that guy in particular, I'm just speaking in general. But anyways, Zoomers are waking up in mass to this. Gen Z has a lot of... Okay, well, look, I'm not just attacking you.
Okay? In fact, I'm not really attacking you. I'm attacking your advocacy. I am attacking your ideas. Okay? A lot of people say the things that you're saying. And I don't hate you as, like, individuals, as people. Again, I think as individuals, I think you need psychological help.
They
That's
have a lot
what
of
I think.
cultural voids. Everything seems fake. Everything seems gay. Everything
But
seems
I just
retarded,
hate your
and
ideas.
And they are rejecting that en masse, me included. There is a surge in homeschooling. And I think that's quite a great thing. It's a good thing. Because
Oh, yeah, that's such a great thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what this country needs? We need more homeschooling and private education. Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna fix everything. You're so right, bro. Yeah, because it's worked out so well for us so far over the last 40 years. You know, the dismantling of our public education, the gutting of pretty much all our public institutions. It's been a big help to our country. Oh, yeah. Yeah, wow. Wow. Yeah, people are so much smarter now. Yeah, you're right, man. Yeah.
Things that we just talked about in this video, like your original
For
state or
sure.
And a lot of alternative media is also threatened. Rumble has grown a shit ton since its inception, and it's because there's all the people that are going on there were banned off of YouTube for the most part. There's even Odyssey and BitChute. And also another idea that's been captivating people, and it's another topic of hot debate and tension, is racial realism. And racial realism, it's not even hate, it's just pattern recognition. And this is gaining traction. When different cultures are all put together into a big mishmash, eventually there's going to be a clash there. Eventually the high trust society of a homogenous society, like let's say Japan for example, it's still mostly there, it will start to fracture if Japan gets invaded by Indians. I'm just going to put it like that. So the far right is not fringe. They used to say it's fringe or evil. This would be kind of labels that they used to apply to you to try to dehumanize you. It's actually just the center reclaiming ground. It is actually just normal thought processes. So as scandals continue to mount over and over again, like migrant kills somebody, or migrant welfare fraud found out, or the Somalian everyday, the Learning Center, or whatever it's called, you all know what I'm talking about in Minnesota with that Nick Shirley video.
The Learning Center.
Everybody is just going to keep on getting pissed off as the liberal world order and its narratives just continue to crumble. The betrayed natives, they're going to rise up, and maybe not necessarily in rage, although definitely some of them are, and I definitely feel it to myself sometimes, but they're just trying to resolve things.
You should be enraged. You should be angry. But your anger should not be pointed at Jews, at Somalis, at the immigrants. Okay, it should be pointed at the elites, the rich people, the liberal elites, the right-wing rich people. All of them are politicians who have sold us out time and time again, gotten us into forever wars, killing our sons and daughters. Those are the people you should be angry at. Those are the people you should take up arms against. Not brown people.
They want to reclaim their home, and they want to reclaim their heritage, and they want support. Because right now the situation seems pretty black-pilling, to put it lightly. So the thing that's haunting the elite is their own irrelevance and their thought processes and their moral grandstanding and how they try to punish you. Because the world is finally starting to see through all of the lies. And I really love that. That's why I'm white-pilled. That's why I'm hope-pilled. Alright guys, this is more of a philosophy video for me today, and again, I hope you enjoyed the B-roll footage. I think it's just nice to look at. And also, I would prefer my videos not to be watched for the COD footage.
Yeah, this shit sucks.
I started off as COD commentary because I enjoyed it, but I'd rather you listen to my videos. Maybe you listen while you're driving, or you listen while you're cooking, or you listen while you're at the gym. Whatever, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, COD is boring, this footage is boring, it's all fucking boring. I mean, I'm not saying my gameplay is much better. Shit, I don't know, I've tried to, like, make interesting visuals, you know, not just on the side of what I'm presenting, right, but also, like my format, my camera, with the shadow drop, the drop shadow. Okay, I like it. Anyway, I don't know, man. I'm gonna put my own gameplay over this bullshit. This shit sucks.
I suck at video games. I get my ass kicked on Modern Warfare 2 when I play on IW4X, which, by the way, all the time I get comments and questions.
That's okay.
How do you play these games? How are you playing it? It's IW4X. Like, I as in India, W as in whiskey, the number 4, then X as in X-ray. It is some sort of...
Was that a capture card?
It's like a program you run, but it's basically a way for people to have their own servers so that hackers and the like can get banned, and this, that, and the other. Of course, there's still hackers on there, but there's active mods that ban them. I don't know how the bans work, but they tend to work pretty well. I don't really like the hackers, because the Steam version of Modern Warfare 2 is absolute dog water. It's bullshit. Don't even touch it, because it can actually be dangerous for your computer. People will get into your computer and force shut your game down and start controlling your screen. It's a bunch of crazy shit. So, anyways, these people on IW4X, they have played Modern Warfare 2 since 2009. They have not missed a day since 2009. They've been playing for 12 hours a day since. So getting footage is kind of hard sometimes, so that's why I wanted to get the B-roll footage on there, and I want you to listen to the content anyways. So I'm gonna have some COD footage sprinkled in here, but
you know, Jimmy, I actually know exactly how you feel, bro, because I'm using TF2 footage now, and you know, that game also came out around that time. Came out in 2008 or 2007, I think. But anyway, yeah, people have been playing that game for almost 20 years now, so it's rough. It's hard getting like good footage, but the good thing is I am a fucking natural. I'm a big-brained genius. Okay, I'm also an engineer main, so when I die, it's not really my fault. It's because we didn't have any pyros. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have pyros checking for spies.
From now on. If you all like it.
Not my fault.
Anyways, that's all for me today, guys. Thank you for sitting here and listening to me splurge at a computer
Also, maybe they have a really good demo man. There's really no counter to demo man. Like somebody that's the thing about playing demo man, is like if you get good enough, there is no stopping you in Team Fortress 2. I'm telling you, like demo man is so fucking broken. And I'm not saying it's easy to play. Okay, I can't fucking play demo man, but like once you get, like, my point is all of the other classes, you can get really good with them, but they all have counters, so like people on the other team, they can, like, if you're playing as engineer, somebody can switch to spy or demo man and destroy your nest, kill you, yada yada. But when you play as demo man, there's nothing that anybody can do. They're just dead.
I really appreciate you. I would not do these YouTube videos if you guys did not watch them. If nobody watched them, then I wouldn't do this shit.
Yeah, man, I know. Anyway, I'm gonna pause the stream.